Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. We're going to talk about something that just got approved by the Supreme Court. And some people are upset. And I was like, I don't know why some of y'all get up in arms by these court rulings, because every court in America is corrupt, including the Supreme Court. There is no such thing as a court in America, and it does not show any corruption. Every single one is corrupt. They really don't follow the law either. Whenever they want to break the law, they break the law. They'll ignore the Constitution. So it is what it is. This is definitely not a land you should be looking for justice in, because you're just not going to find it. America don't believe in that. Only if you're a certain persuasion. If you're not, America does not believe in justice. You know, they say a lot of things, but do the exact opposite. So these illegals think they got it bad now. Boy, it is about to go tenfold on their butts. And I'm going to explain to you how. See, this is why they should not be fighting with us at all. They should be fighting with their own people that got them in this mess in the first place. But the first video I'm going to show you is Marco Rubio. Now, he himself is a Cuban. And listen to how he speaks about deporting his people. And he literally don't care what happens to these folks. And, you know, he harps on, oh, it's the criminal element. And we already know that's not true. They are not deporting all criminals. And you can tell by the way they are going out and grabbing people. They're going to people's jobs. They're going to children's schools. You know, they're grabbing these people out in parking lots when they're just getting out of their cars. You know, they're not going in the areas where the gangs are. They're going in the area where they feel are easy targets, soft targets, children, and people's place of business that they know they can just walk into, hospitals, you know. So that's what they're doing. They're not going after the criminal element. They keep saying this, but we know they're not doing that. So let me share my screen, and I want y'all to just pay close attention to what Marco Rubio says. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
We are actively searching for other countries to take people from third countries. So we are actively, not just El Salvador, we are working with other countries to say, we want to send you some of the most despicable human beings to your countries. Will you do that as a favor to us? And the further away from America, the better, so they can't come back across the border. I'm not apologetic about it. We are doing that. The president was elected to keep America safe and to get rid of a bunch of perverts and pedophiles and child rapists out of our country. Here's something else we've done. We stopped giving student visas to people who are coming here to burn down our universities and take over libraries and harass people. Why are we giving student visas to people who are coming here to create disruption? And we've taken away the student visas of people that are coming here to do that. It's simple. If you're coming to America to start riots, we're not going to give you, we're going to take away your student visa.
Breaking news. Immigration can now continue with its deportation of illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants within the United States to third country locations. What does this mean? It means the Supreme Court, in a 6-3, ruled in favor of this administration's practice of deportation of illegal immigrants to countries that the persons didn't originally originate or born from, which basically means that this administration can deport anybody that they detain to any country that will actually take them. For an example, if you have somebody from El Salvador, they could technically be deported to Mexico, or someone from Mexico could be deported to El Salvador. It doesn't matter your country origins. It just matters where this administration is setting to deport individuals or countries that will take people that are being deported. And where they're going to be put is still a question. What is known is that the Supreme Court has basically upheld the Trump administration's ruling or decision to deport immigrants within the United States to any country that will take them.
Now, this is what I want to now, Marco Rubio said they made deals with other countries. Now, y'all, they sent a Cuban and a Mexican to South Sudan, and they got a war going on over there. So it just goes to show you, they think these people are disposable. They don't care what happens to them. And a lot of them that they are rounding up are not people out here causing problems, but they keep labeling everybody a criminal so they can get away with what they're doing. See, this is why y'all should not be in the faces of our community. You need to be dealing with the Marco Rubios in your community that's selling you out. Marco Rubio is cheering this stuff on, of sending you to a nation that you didn't even come from. And they've already done this. So the nations is Djibouti over there in Africa, and also South Sudan. They are flying people over there and just leaving them. Now, you are now in a nation. It's dangerous. You don't know your way around. And boy, you Mexicans, y'all gonna have a hell of a time over there in Sudan. Them people are like street black, and y'all don't like black. So I don't know what you're gonna do. So over there, the people and population are very dark. The police and the government, they're all melanated people. And not to mention the fact they probably don't speak Spanish. So you're going to have a language barrier thing when they throw you in that country and leave. So if they don't speak English and they don't speak Spanish, you are pretty screwed when you get off of that plane. You're going to have a hard time getting around. How you going to stay somewhere and you don't speak the language? And chances are many of you are going to get dropped off with nothing but the clothes on your back. That's what they are doing to many of you that they are capturing. They're not even going to bother sending you back to your home nation. If you listen to what Marco Rubio said, he said that way you can't just cross the border and come back. That's what they're trying to prevent. That's why they're doing this. Because, see, many of these people are stupid. I'm just conceding that these folks are dumb. They are dumb. It's like every week we find something stupid out about them. Last week they thought the black people in America were immigrants too. That's what they thought. And see, this government, they watch the social media just like everybody else. And they're watching you Mexicans get deported and then come on a video and say, a week later, I'm back. Or 2 days later, oh, I'm back. I got deported 2 days ago. I'm back. See, they're watching that stuff. They're watching it. And now they're going to send you to a nation far away from the U.S. to prevent you from coming back in a week, coming back in 2 days, and then being braggadocious about it on a video. See, they're going to make it very difficult for you, and they're going to put you in places that you're not used to. I hope you can handle the African summers and that African sun, because some of y'all going to roast to death over there. I'm willing to bet Mexico don't get as hot as Africa does. So y'all gonna have a hell of a time if they drop you off in South Sudan and Djibouti. Y'all gonna have a hell of y'all gonna be over there roasting, and you're not gonna know the language, and you're not gonna know how to get around. You think your problems are bad? Just hearing this alone, you should have taken Donald Trump's advice and deport yourself out of here. That is going to be your best bet, because if you don't do it, they just got the approval today from the Supreme Court that they can send you to a third nation that you never came from. And you can best believe he's not lying when he says they're negotiating with other nations where they can fly the illegals into to make it hard for you to come back here. How the hell are you going to get out of South Sudan with no money? And you can't speak the language, and you can't really do anything when you're over there. Okay, I bet you won't be bringing your ass back here in no week and in a few days. I bet you won't be doing that no more. No. So yeah, I mean, and some of them are crying over this decision, but look, Donald Trump has told you in more ways than one. He has showed you with all of these ICE raids, bringing in the National Guard, bringing in the Marines, and ICE is just being straight up violent with y'all when they handle you. And he's showing you over and over that he don't want you here. There is no one running to your rescue. And y'all, if you think it's bad now, and it gets even worse. Once they grab you and they send you to one of these third countries, they don't have to give you no notice. So you literally can be boarding a plane without any knowledge that you're being flown to an African nation. They don't have to tell you. They don't have to give you no notice. This is what the Supreme Court said. So you literally can be on that plane and you don't even know that you're not going back to Mexico or going to Cuba or wherever you came from, but you're going to some third world African country that you know nothing about. And that's what Donald Trump got the Supreme Court to approve. That's what he got them to approve. And you can see Marco Rubio, he is Donald Trump's biggest cheerleader on this whole thing. Yes. Okay. So, hey, let me tell you something. Y'all need to focus on the right thing and leave us the hell alone. At this point, we have told you a multitude of times we're not going out in those streets. So it is counterproductive for you to continue to come to us begging and crying for us to join you in those wild out looking protests that y'all having out in the street. Instead of dealing with that, you better deal with the fact that if they do nab you, you may not be going home. You may be going somewhere else. That's all I'm saying. So it's a Supreme Court ruling, and you can best believe Donald Trump is going to uphold this one. He absolutely will. So I don't know what these illegals are going to do, but it don't look good. It looks like this whole thing is about to take a turn for the worse on them. So let me continue with the video.
This is a 6-3 ruling. With the Supreme Court ruling this way, it means that this is something that is not going to be changed or overruled anytime soon. This would take an act of Trump reversing his decision or a change in presidency. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment, and prayers to all of the immigrants that are going through this right now.
The United States Supreme Court just voted in a vote 6-3 that it was okay to send undocumented migrants to third countries, even if those countries weren't their homeland. So let's talk about some of the possibilities of what this means. So, for example, if someone flees their country due to persecution or violence and arrives in the US seeking asylum, which is a legal process, they can be shipped off to another country entirely, one they've never lived in, and one, like if it's South Sudan, does not bode well for anyone's safety. This whole stupid ass idiotic idea builds off Trump era safe third country policies, mostly targeting immigrants from Central America. But let's be clear, these safe countries, again, take El Salvador or South Sudan. These countries are not safe for anyone. The court's conservative majority states that the executive branch has wide authority on immigration. But the liberal justices serving on the Supreme Court, they're warning that this violates international asylum law. So now the US has permission to deport vulnerable people like women fleeing the cartel or LGBTQIA people, fleeing persecution, and sending them to random nations that might not, in fact, probably won't protect them either. And now that's all legal thanks to this bullshit ruling. Like and follow for updates.
We have breaking news right now. The United States Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to officially resume third country removals, which means essentially removing undocumented migrants to countries where they are not from, like South Sudan. The Trump administration can now do it with limited notice. This is a 6-3 decision. 3 justices dissented. As you can guess, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson, the 3 liberal justices on the bench. The 6 conservative justices were in the majority. Justice Sotomayor wrote, "In matters of life or death, it is best to proceed with caution. In this case, the government took the opposite approach. It wrongfully deported one plaintiff to Guatemala, even though an immigration judge found he was likely to face torture. Then, in clear violation of a court order, deported 6 more to South Sudan, a nation the State Department deems too unsafe for all but its most critical personnel." Sotomayor finishes off by saying, "Respectfully, but regretfully, I dissent." Another day, another Supreme Court ruling for Trump. Spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, linked in bio, so subscribe for free and follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about.
Guys, we got big news from the Supreme Court. They've just allowed the Donald Trump administration, in emergency situations, to deport migrants to other countries other than their homeland. Now, this is pretty controversial because it means people might be sent to places they've never even been to with no real connections or support there. And here's the thing, guys. This isn't just about sending people back home anymore. It's about making the process harsher and more brutal. It's really raising questions, and a moral one at that. Why are we adding these layers of hardship on vulnerable people? This policy doesn't just make deportation more complicated. It makes it more inhumane, and it really, really doesn't have to be that way. Human rights advocates are deeply concerned about the safety and well-being of these individuals. Some of them are fleeing war zones. Others are survivors of trafficking or abuse. Many have children with them. And now we're just saying we might send them to a third country where they don't know the language, don't have a single family member there, and might even be in danger. This is the kind of policy that pretends to be about national security, but in reality, it's just cruelty repackaged. We should be better than this, guys. We really should.
Well, the country is not better than this. America is a very cruel and unjust nation. Look at the history of the country. The whole history is about injustice, violence, murder, and being oppressive to different classes of people, keeping people down, and reparations. And the immigrants, y'all just getting it now. We've been getting it for hundreds of years. Y'all are just getting the backhand of America now. And y'all are falling apart worse than we ever did in the centuries that we have taken it all this time. But a lot of that has changed. One thing about Donald Trump's presidency that I do like, it brought us together. We are now sitting our asses down and we are not participating in no one else's mess. That is the one thing that I am glad that occurred during the presidency of Donald Trump. Yeah, I wish it would have happened years ago, but hey, I'll take it. We're here now and I'll take it. For real. If nothing else, that was the greatest thing that came out of Donald Trump's presidency, our unity and not taking to the streets. So I don't know what y'all gonna do. Even if you continue to call on the help of the Black community, what the Supreme Court ruled on today is way beyond our help. We can't even help you on that. Okay? The only one that can help you if these politicians somehow change things, then if nothing changes through a president or Congress or the Senate, then y'all are pretty much screwed from here on out. Those flights are going to be taking y'all to all kinds of random places when you're on those deportation flights. It's no telling where you're going to end up now. So if you need some advice, here's my advice. Go home. Go home. That way, you know you're in your own land. If you're going to take the chance of fighting it and ICE grab you, you may not make it home for a very long time. You may not make it back home at all. You know, in Sudan, people get tortured there. There's a war going on. It's a lot of torture. It's a lot of killing. It's not safe. It's not safe for anybody to be there. It doesn't matter who you are. It's not safe. But I tell you what, get on the plane and take yourself home. If they offer to deport you and you can go back home, Donald Trump offered $1,000 for anybody that would self-deportate. Some people did take him up on that. And some of y'all want to sit around and fight. It might not be to your best interest to do that, especially after the Supreme Court ruling. So that's all I got to say on this subject, y'all. What's happening to them is beyond any help we can give them. So y'all better start looking internally for that help within your group. And somebody like Marco Rubio, who is sitting in a position of power selling you out. That's what you need to deal with and leave us the hell alone. So y'all, I'm going to conclude. Jewel Gillette, thank you for becoming a new channel member. I deeply appreciate it. And for everyone else, please enjoy the rest of your night. And we'll be coming back tomorrow because I got another really good one to show y'all. Man, MAGA is going off on Donald Trump for starting this war. They are upset with him. And I got 2 videos of Donald Trump completely contradicting himself about war that I'm going to show you. So that will be at 11:45 tomorrow. And I hope to see each and every one of you there. Daughter of Inky and Nima. Thank you for the super sticker. And I'm sorry if I butchered up your name. I did not mean to do that, but thank you for your support for my channel. Thank you. So yeah, definitely. You definitely want to see the one coming out tomorrow because MAGA is going off on Donald Trump. They are so upset with him over this war because Donald Trump ran. I mean, just face it, he's a politician. Politicians always lie. But he ran on a platform of not starting any wars. And 6 months into his presidency, he's already jumped off a war. Go figure. But they are very upset with him. And you're going to see that tomorrow if you come back. Shalom, family.